Because this is how we survive.
It's always been astonishing to me just how strong bonds can be built in a world like this. In a world that's absolutely bereft of civilization, honor, and trust. The people that you do grow to trust over time become the tightest people in your life. You would do anything for them, and in return they would do anything for you. One of the primary themes that was present to me throughout the Season 7 finale was the theme of how bonds can really overcome any obstacles. I mean, Negan had Rick's people at near impossible odds in this scenario. Even after Rick striking a deal with the devil, it ended up blowing up in his face in the end. Even after Rick taking the painstaking time to strike a deal with the devil essentially, I wasn't really expecting it to blow up in his face quite like this. I didn't really see Negan coming out with so much control at such an early time in this exchange. It was interesting to see just how things turned. Even as an avid comic book reader, I was never really expecting anything on cue. I was always surprised when the writers and directors wanted you to be surprised. The Walking Dead writers and the directors have always done a really good job at this for me. I'm not quite sure if it's just me, but the show isn't as predictable as I may have thought from the beginning. As the battle raged on, one primary thing that really stood out to me was how different this conflict was in terms of brutality and overall devastation. When the governor attacked Rick back at the prison, that scene was probably one of the most brutal scenes I've ever seen in a zombie apocalyptic scenario. Seeing the governor and Rick literally on the floor strangling each other, it was really showing of the time period in which the apocalypse had grown at that point, what was at stake, what was being fought over. This conflict felt a lot more glamorized. I wouldn't say glamorized in terms of not violent, but it was definitely a lot more Hollywood-esque, if you will. That doesn't take anything away from the scene, it was just something that I noticed. Another thing that I really loved about the battle was how involved everyone was. The writers and the directors did an excellent job of getting a majority of the characters involved in this conflict. The death of Sasha was also a pretty unexpected outcome for me. I was half expecting Sasha to come out of the coffin swinging something, trying to kill Negan alive actively. I did not expect her to kill herself as a result of Eugene's help and come at him as a walker. That was very unexpected, and I loved the overall way the scene was played. It was not hemmed up, it was not something that was drawn out or dragged out. There was no slow motion involved. It was a very sudden act that really jolted the various groups of survivors. Finally uncovering the significance of Sasha and Abraham's relationship over the course of a few seasons made her death all the much sadder. The contrasting mind states of Abraham and Sasha during the time of this last meeting of theirs was also pretty sad to see, as well as frustrating. It was hard to know that Sasha could essentially see into the future of Abraham's demise. Being that she was so close and so attached to Abraham, she shared a connection with him like no other, even deeper than Bob Stuckey's relationship with her. It's always interesting to see how time and experience can really change the course of someone's mentality towards someone, especially in a world like a zombie apocalypse. Seeing this light-shedding backstory of Abraham and Sasha really strengthened the past relationship of Sasha and Rosita that I watched throughout the seasons. It was just great to know that their tension between each other was not misplaced. It's great to now understand that Sasha shared a strong bond with Abraham, maybe even much stronger than Rosita's bond with him. Rosita and Abraham's bond over the course of their survival together came much more down to survival, not love, as Abraham so clearly expressed to Rosita on his way out when breaking up with her. What Abraham and Sasha shared, however, was true love, something that they actually had the time to pursue and feel and attract to each other, without having to worry about what's around the corner or sleeping with one eye open on the road. There are so many questions and contemplations that can continue about these two characters' relationships and what could have potentially been. But it's also great to just know what they did have. Time, safety, and security are all things that Sasha and Abraham had. That's why Abraham really floated the idea of them having children. In a world where they feel like they have won, that they were victorious in this almost seemingly endless struggle, he felt like they could move on and go to a new life. A sad ending to an otherwise beautiful relationship in a world breathed of absolutely that. The lack of significant character deaths comes to no surprise to me. Robert Kirkman has stated multiple times in various interviews that he has a hard time letting actors go that are a part of this show. It's a lot harder to do as a result of them being actual real people that he knows and develops bonds with in real life, as opposed to just a black and white paperback ink character on a page. With the added factor of the scavengers, I can only imagine where the future of the next season is going to go. There's a lot of unanswered questions, but there's a lot of books closed as a result of this episode, Sasha's being the primary one. That's why this video focused mostly in on her relationship with Abraham, because I felt that was the most significant part of this episode. To me, at least. I'd like to pose this question to you. Do you believe that the significance of this battle will stretch beyond this season? Or do you believe that the losses suffered as a result of this episode were all for naught? Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate it. If there's anything that I didn't really discuss that you would like to hear me discuss in a different video, maybe go in depth about some of the things that happened in this episode, let me know in the comments or send me a message. I have no problem with listening to suggestions. Take care, and stay safe, survivors.
We tell ourselves